guys, and welcome back to this week's 52-week project video. This week is going to be another combination video, so I'm going to go through a couple of shoots that I've done recently, and a couple of them I'm not going to mention until the end. They were a lot shorter in terms of the shooting time and what I actually produced in the end in terms of photos. So I'm going to go through the main shoot of this video, which is going to be Georgia's shoot, the model, and I shot with her in Japan, and this was in collaboration with Jessica Kobeissi. We had a really fun time in Tokyo doing this shoot. We were in the middle of Shibuya, so that was really fun and also very busy. So I had a lot of fun doing this. We went to some pretty interesting locations, so I'm going to talk through some of the images, and we don't really have any behind the scenes this week, although if you do go to Jessica Kobeissi's channel, you can see some of the behind the scenes on there. She does have a video up with that. The first shooting location that we actually shot at was at the Bershka store in Shibuya. It's quite big. I think it's about 4 or 5 levels. And there's this really cool like red corridor staircase area as you go up to each floor. And these chains that hang in front of this huge window that views Shibuya. So as you can see in this photo, I'm probably just going to put it on the screen for you guys. It's actually really cool. Like, there's a few mirrors around as well, so there's a lot of light going on, a lot of reflection. It was actually quite difficult to shoot in this space though, because it was quite dim and there were these spotlights coming up from the floor. And that wasn't really particularly photogenic, I think, for anyone to have light coming up from below and hitting them in the face. It kind of makes it look like a horror movie. So we had to really work around some of the lighting situations that we had there. I was actually, for this particular shot, I was getting Georgia to stand on the spotlight with her foot, so it was blocking it. And just using a high ISO to kind of achieve a fairly well-lit look. But I do like how this photo in particular turned out. It's not my favorite for the week, so it's not going to be in my top 5, but I do have quite a few similar images like this one, so I'm going to go through them now. This photo I really like. It's very similar to the next few, although it's not going to be in my top 5 because I think I've just got stronger overall, but you can see that the shooting location is really cool, seen through the chains on the window. This photo is very similar to the last one, although not going to be in my top 5 because the next one I feel like is just a little bit more interesting. I think this is pretty simple for a shot for me to take, and like I've said numerous times, I'm really trying to look for something extra for my portfolio at the moment. So I feel like this next photo really adds that, and it kind of looks like she's looking down off a ledge or something, and I kind of like that with this shot, and seeing more of the view of the background and the city. And even though we've kind of got the below spotlight hitting her face, it kind of looks interesting, I feel. And it just kind of creates a really cool effect with the reflection of the mirror that she's standing against as well. So I really like this shot of Georgia. I think it is going to be my top 5 this week overall. I think it's just one of the better shots from that shooting location. I don't mind this shot as well of Georgia, although I do feel like the light is blending too much from her face into the lights in the background. So I feel like there's not enough definition there to separate her from the background, so that's why I didn't choose this shot. But this shot is another one of my favorites from the week, and I think she just looks absolutely stunning in this shot. You can still see a bit of the background, and you've still got that cool reflection of herself behind. So I really like how it turned out overall, and it's quite different for me to do these types of shots. I feel like they have a little bit more of a cool, creative Instagram kind of feel, and I don't always sort of do that. I feel like I'm so focused on fashion and makeup, and it was just nice to do something that was a little bit more creative for once, that didn't require an emphasis on all of that. This shot is also going to be in my top 5, and I think it's really different for me. I think it's kind of old Hollywood is what reminds me of this photo. I don't know what it is, but I just really like Georgia's pose, and I think it's just interesting. I like the bokeh blur in the background, and there's a little bit more emphasis on the sequins on her dress, so I really like that about this shot. This shot's not going to be in my top 5, however, I really love how everything turned out in this shot, although the next shot's very similar, so I am going to have that one in my top 5, which is this one here. And I think I just see the poses being a little bit more interesting, and it's showing the dress a little bit more. I don't know, I just like this particular photo more. You guys might disagree, but I think it really encompasses Japan as well in the image. You can see the writing in the background on the shops, and I don't know, I just really like the light in this. It's just really cool. I like how the shot turned out. This shot is not going to be in my top 5, although I think it's interesting. I just wish I had made more definition between Georgia and the backdrop. I really like that she's kind of looking up at the city lights, and it kind of has that creative moment, but I do think it didn't really turn out the way that I wanted it to. I think it could have been a lot stronger, so it's not going to be in my top 5 this week. This photo is going to be in my top 5, and I was really enjoying shooting from the ground with my 24-70 with more of a wide angle. I think it was kind of creating some interesting effects. You can see the people in the background moving around. It was a little bit harder in the shot to make Georgia the focus because there was a lot of people. But I really like how her face looks in this one too, and how the dress looks, and I just really like how it turned out. This photo is the last one that we took, and it was on the Shibuya crossing. So as you can see in the background, a lot of people around. It was very difficult to have I think it was about 20 seconds or less of trying to run around and get the right shot without being trampled by people. So this was definitely very difficult, but it's not going to be in my top 5. I think that there's just, we could have spent even more time maybe on the crossing trying out some different poses. I feel like maybe I could have directed Georgia a little bit differently here, although it was quite hard because it's very hard to hear when there's so many people around and it's so busy. But I think I could have done probably a bit better with this shot. So I think overall this is my favourite photo for the week, although I do really love this image as well. That would have to be maybe my number 2. Although I really love Georgia's face in this one. I think it just looks really beautiful, and the location looks interesting, and it still has that kind of Tokyo feel to it, which I really wanted to come across in these images, and the bright city lights, and just a cool location. So really happy with how the images turned out in the end. So I definitely could have improved with a few things. Now I did have a night challenge photo shoot that I showed you guys previously on my channel, and I did that in conjunction with Jessica Kobeissi as well. I really enjoyed how that photo shoot came out because we were doing a bit of a challenge where we didn't use any external lighting or anything like that. It was just the ambient light that we were using from the city lights, and I think that they turned out really well. I wish I had have maybe experimented with a flash in this one, just to kind of move away from a higher ISO, because it tends to leave a lot of grain in your images, and although that can work, and I really like that for some imagery, I think for this one it would have been cool to maybe just experiment with a flash for once. It's not something that I use very often, and I don't always like the effect that flash creates in my personal opinion, but I think there probably would have been instances where it could have looked kind of cool, and maybe that's something that I can try for next time when I do a night photo shoot. What I think I did well was I think that I directed Georgia well. I think I tried to see more of a creative vision with this shoot, and not necessarily just think about fashion, just think about makeup or beauty or anything like that, because obviously that is what I do and that's always what I'm thinking about. But I don't know, there's something about Tokyo and something about Georgia as well. She was just really interesting with her posing, and I think it just gave more of a creative feel to the shoot, and I was inspired to do more of that direction, I guess. So that's what I really enjoyed doing throughout this photo shoot, and I think I did well. So the other 2 photo shoots that I did for this video and combined them together, one of the photo shoots was actually also in conjunction with Jessica Kobeissi in Seoul in Korea, in South Korea, and we did I did a very quick couple of photos at the end of her shoot, actually, because it was kind of like a bit of a collaboration that I had going with Happy Socks, and that was a really fun thing to do. So they sent me quite a few pairs of socks, and I just had to do an Instagram post showing the socks. So we ended up dressing the model at the end of her shoot and kind of coming up with a creative outfit and adding the socks in, and I just took like a couple of photos of Serena the model, and yeah, really like how they came out as well. I mean, they were just very quick, and something that we were just very inspired to do at that time, because Happy Socks have this really cool, colourful effect with a lot of their socks, and I think they really stand out well in photo shoots. So yeah, I just took a few images at the end of that shoot and really like how they came out. So I'm not going to go through a top 5 because obviously I did not take enough images and I only had to do a couple of images for the post. So yeah, just really liked how they came out. I'm just going to show them on the screen right now. And this outfit was pretty much just made of a combination of some of my clothing and some of Jessica's clothing that we just had in our suitcases already. I just put Serena in my Vans that I had on me, so luckily she fit the shoes, and that was really good. So it just worked out really well at the end of Jess's shoot. And the third photo shoot I'm going to talk to you guys about quickly was the taking pictures of strangers. So I'm not sure what time this video is going up, but I might have to wait to post this until taking pictures of strangers has already been posted. So I have no idea what timeline this is going to be when this video goes live. However, this was such a cool experience. To go to Harajuku and shoot with my friend Jessica was just amazing. Like, I think that really is going to stick in my head as being one of my favorite things that I've done in Japan. And it was nice to kind of go around and meet some of the local people, and even though it was just a quick moment of taking their photo, it was just so interesting to see their style and how there wasn't really much care for how they thought everyone else was going to perceive them. They just dressed in their own style and dressed in what they loved. And I think that that's so awesome, and that's why I've always been inspired by Harajuku fashion in particular, because it's so individual and unique, and I really love that. It was really fun to go walking the streets and nervously try and approach people to see whether they would have their photo taken. We did have a few rejections, as you'll probably see on the video. However, it was just a really fun experience. It's not something that I do very often. Actually, I never do that. I never go around asking strangers for their photo. But yeah, it's just a different experience for me, and I thought I would include that in my 52-week project, because even though it's not necessarily a test shoot, it's something different and something fun that I got to. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. It is feeling a little bit rushed at the moment because I'm combining so much, but I do feel like it's better doing it this way than having 20 different videos of all of these shoots, especially when some of them have been quite small or a bit shorter in length. So I really hope you guys are enjoying these at the moment. I have no idea when all these videos are going to be out by, but I'm hoping to get all the videos for the 52-week project out by the end of January next year. Thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!